Among WNBA rookies, Caitlin Clark had the most fouls. She was pursued by more seasoned players as if she had stolen from them. The importance of her college stardom was rapidly lost on her. Despite their best efforts, she managed to startle everyone by doing something unexpected. Her physique underwent a radical change. Plus, no one could believe their eyes when they saw the outcomes. This is the horrific tale they would like you not hear. She entered this world in Des Moines, Iowa, on January 22, 2002. Caitlin Elizabeth Clark was her name. She had 3 younger siblings and was the middle kid. Her whole identity would be shaped by her location, sandwiched between an older and younger sibling. Life has always been an obstacle course. Even at home in West Des Moines, she never stopped trying to win, stay ahead, or prove herself. The little girl who bounced a ball around the house would change the course of sports history. But her parents, Brent and Anne, were unaware of this. In college, Caitlin's dad was a baseball and basketball player. Football was her grandfather's sport. Athletics was in the family tree. However, Caitlin possessed more than just athleticism. Achieving victory consumed her. She evidently had years of experience dribbling, even at the little age of 5. It made no difference if it was a game or an assignment for class. Winning was her goal, without fail. The flames never died out. It even became unmanageable at times. While fighting with her brother, she once hurled him into a wall. His skull cracked open. Their mother had to intervene in countless such fights. She excelled in more than just basketball. Basketball really wasn't the big attraction at the beginning. When she was a high school soccer player, she scored 26 goals in only 6 games. Her soccer coach thought she had what it took to play at the highest level. In addition to golf, tennis, softball and volleyball, she was an athlete. Oh, and the pianist was her. Even though Caitlin had many of options, the lure of basketball was too much to ignore. When she first started, there wasn't a league just for females her age. Thus, her father enrolled her in a guys' league. Getting onto the court was an ordeal in and of itself. It strengthened her character. In 6th grade, she became a member of the Ames All-Iowa Attack AAU squad. That was the turning point. Playing against girls far older than her, she was a mere 13 years old. One of her coaches recalled that she hit a step-back 3 and then threw a perfectly aimed, undisturbed pass. According to that same instructor, following a victory, the majority of kids would want ice cream. To Caitlin, it was irrelevant. Just playing harder and winning more was all she desired. From that point on, things began to unfold. Dowling Catholic High School was taken aback by her actions when she was a junior. Caitlin set a new single-game scoring record on February 4, 2019, with 60 points. She made 13 three-pointers and dropped 25 points in the first quarter. In Iowa's history, that was the highest. After the game, even the opposing team's student section waited in line to get autographs. She was named the top scorer in the state not once but twice during her junior and senior years. She had a career-high 33.4 PPG, 8 RBEBs, 4 assists, and nearly 3 steals per game in her final year. With 47 points throughout her career, she is 4th all-time in Iowa. That was in 2005. Additionally, her record for most three-pointers made was broken. She led her team to a state tournament victory on February 25, 2019, with 42 points despite playing in 3 overtimes. Dowling Catholic finished the season with a 19-4 record under her guidance. Gatorade Player of the Year, Miss Iowa Basketball, and All-Iowa Athlete of the Year were all titles bestowed upon her. She had already achieved legendary status in her basketball career at that time. Following that, 2020, November 25th arrived. There was hardly anyone in the stands. A student called Caitlin Clark, who was 18 years old, became a media darling despite the fact that COVID had kept the fans away. Something remarkable occurred that evening at Iowa's Carver Hawkeye Arena. With a 58% shooting percentage, Caitlin scored 27 points, grabbed 8 boards, and dished out 4 assists. Upon receiving the ball, she immediately began to dominate play. She was the most valuable player in the game, even though it was her first game. A statement was even made by her defenders. She proved she could make plays or break them with ease, with 3 steals. Years later, she would have a national title run with Gabby Marshall, Kate Martin, McKenna Warnock, and Monica Zenano, who were her teammates that night. However, it was evident that first night. The name is Caitlin Clark. Stood as the hoop star for the Hawkeyes. Not even 4 weeks after that, she pulled off an even more unusual feat. She hit her first career triple-double against Western Illinois on December 22nd. Despite shooting just 3 of 15 from the field, she managed to score 13 points, grab 13 rebounds, and throw out 10 assists. She didn't give up though, she merely adapted. She concentrated on creating plays. She finished off the triple-double with an assist that was set up by a pinpoint pass to Logan Cook in the paint. The previous time Samantha Logic achieved a triple-double at Iowa was in 2015, thus this sort of feat was unprecedented. Coach Lisa Blurder recognized the rarity of the situation. Triple-doubles, she continued, are exceptional since they don't happen often. Still, Caitlin accomplished it in just her first month playing collegiate basketball. When questioned about it, Caitlin made a statement that was more remarkable than her statistics. "I attempted to motivate other players because I was terrible at shooting the ball. A freshman mindset wouldn't be that. We have a leader here." Next, February 11th arrived. When Caitlin entered Nebraska's home arena, she left with the record for most points scored in a single game in that venue. She scored 39 points, grabbed 10 boards, and dished out 7 assists. From the floor, she got 12 out of 18. From the free throw line, she was spot on. She achieved everything. From every direction, she scorched Nebraska. Her season point total surpassed 600 as the game came to a close. Past Iowa Hawkeyes players were the only ones to accomplish that feat. This wasn't a single steamy evening though. In terms of scoring, Caitlin was at the top in the country. Oh, and she was only a first-year student. That has never been done previously by anyone in Division I. No first-year student, male or female. Before the Nebraska game, her average was 29.8 points. She was the fire, not merely on fire. She had changed the records at season's conclusion. Over the course of 30 games, she scored 799 points. The average point total is 26.6. Scores in a single season by a freshman has never been higher. Across the nation, not only in Iowa. When she scored, she topped all of Division I. She topped the charts in several categories, including points scored, points per game, field goals made, three-pointers made, and assists per game, while placing second overall. Her shots weren't limited to threes. She was cranking them out at a rate never seen before. Her 30-game three-point total was 116, roughly 4 in every game. A first-year student has never done that before. 12 of her games included 30-plus point performances. That had not occurred since the year 2000. In addition to finishing with the third highest single-season point total in program history, she also shattered Iowa's freshman scoring record. In her last years, not her first, Megan Gustafson was the only one who had scored more than her. To top it all off, she was named Big Ten Freshman of the Year. On the circuit of awards, she was unrivaled. Throughout the season, she garnered 23 Big Ten awards. Freshman of the Week 13 times was her moniker. She became the only freshman in program history to earn Player of the Week honors 5 times. Not by chance did she earn a spot on the All-Big Ten first team. The coaches and the media all agreed that she should start. She was named Co-Freshman of the Year on the national stage with Paige Bueckers of UConn. Her achievement created history as the first Hawkeye to win the title of National Freshman of the Year. Within the Big Ten, her scoring average was 27.7 and her assist average was 6.6. In 9 of her conference games, she scored 30 points or more. More than 20 more were among her accomplishments. Not only did her performance garner headlines, it also propelled Iowa to the forefront of national discussions. They made it all the way to the Big Ten championship game and made it all the way to the NCAA tournament Sweet 16. They made it to the Sweet 16 for the 8th time all-time and the 3rd time in 4 years. Until 2021, when Caitlin Clark was a sophomore in college, no woman had ever done what she did in Division I women's basketball. In terms of scoring and assists, she was the national leader. On a per-game basis, she contributed 27 points, 8 assists, and 8 rebounds. Few players can hold the top spot in even a single category. Clark spearheaded 2 simultaneously. It had never been done before. It was expected that scorers would score. The purpose of passers was to pass. However, Caitlin Clark disregarded such regulations. All of it was done by her. It wasn't merely her point total that stunned everyone. While doing that, she had a certain number of assists. With a scoring lead and 8 assists per game, the whole concept of basketball roles was shattered by that. She was the center of attention for the defenders. No matter how many teams there were, it was meaningless. With ease, she continued to thread impossible passes, locate open teammates and set them up. Her passing was often more spectacular than her scoring on occasion. It was as if she were playing with invisible eyes. She had defenses guess, and every time they were incorrect. The stakes were higher as her metrics increased. Even with standard defense, other teams knew she was unstoppable. Because of this, they resorted to physical force. As well as pulling on her sweater, they shoved and bumped her. Even the boundaries of legality were crossed by some of the defenders. In order to wear her out, coaches devised whole game strategies, shot after shot, possession after possession. Still, she persisted. She would always get back up more stronger when they knocked her down. It had become more than just skill. There was grit. They were unable to penetrate her mental fortitude. In the midst of all this, something even more substantial began to take shape. Suddenly, the whole nation was glued on the Iowa Hawkeyes basketball game. Fans from all over, not just those in the area or the Big Ten. Hello everyone, impressions of television shows increased. Reporters began to arrive by plane. Purchases of games have been fulfilled. She was an inspiration to the entire sport, not only her squad. Viewers were eager to find out her next move, so they tuned in, and her work was always gratifying. All hell broke loose by 2023. Since 1993, Iowa had failed to advance to the Final Four. When Caitlin Clark finally broke a 30-year drought on March 26, everything changed. In addition to leading, she was unstoppable. The competition saw her rack up 191 points. No, that is not an error. 191. With nearly 30 points per game as her average, she was highly effective. It wasn't limited to her alone. Monica Czinano and McKenna Warnick, 2 of her teammates, also rose to the occasion. Clark had a way of bringing out the finest in people. Even after reaching the last 4, she still hadn't finished. She had a triple-double against Louisville in the Elite 8, dropping 41%, 12 assists and 10 rebounds. Neither the men's nor the women's NCAA had ever accomplished anything like that. Although this was her 11th triple-double, something was odd about it. She scored threes deep. Amidst the throngs she sped, her demeanor was that of a magician. It appeared effortless, thanks to her. She was still unbeatable, even while facing triple teams. This statistic really stuck with me. Of Iowa's 97 points, 70 were hers or her teammates. Next up were the unbeaten defending champions, South Carolina. Duro 36-inch. Their loss caught everyone off guard. However, Clark once again astonished the world on March 31st. 6 boards, 8 assists, and 41 more points. In the fourth quarter, she was involved in every single point, either scoring or assisting. The entire season was turned on its head by that game. In 42 games, South Carolina had not suffered a loss. After that, Clark occurred. Her bold cuts, her self-assurance, and her trademark threes. It sent shockwaves through the nation's top defense. On April 2, 2023, Caitlin Clark was one game away from realizing her lifelong dreams, the pinnacle of achievement, the national championship. Unfortunately, she was devastated by what should have been the zenith of her illustrious collegiate career. Louisiana State defeated Iowa 102-85. The fact was considerably more difficult to swallow, even if it appeared like an easy win for LSU on paper. Clark had persevered through every obstacle to lead her team to that point. She led Iowa to the championship game just days before with back-to-back 41-point performances. She broke the record set in 1990 for most three-pointers made in a championship game by making 8 in the last game. Within the game, LSU was less than 48 points lower than Alien in a championship game, by making 8 in the last game. Despite her best efforts, her 30 points were insufficient. The expression on her face when the buzzer went off was priceless. Despite her best efforts, her goal slipped through her fingers. Next year, she was a senior. Nobody was mistaken in thinking that her loss would hinder her progress. The night of February 15, 2024, was a watershed moment. Clark scored 8 points against Michigan to tie Kelsey Plum for most points scored in NCAA history, with 3,527. The Hawkeyes were playing Michigan. She launched a deep three-pointer from the logo just 2 minutes into the contest. Everyone lost it. With that basket, she became the all-time leading scorer for women's NCAA basketball. Nevertheless, she persisted farther. She set a new Iowa record with 49 points in a game. In addition to her 5 boards, she had 13 assists. A total of her 126th game was all it took. 139 seconds quicker than Plum. Her total points that night were 3,569. Not only was she a legend now, but she still had more to offer. Attempting to break a 54-year-old record in front of a sold-out arena on March 3, 2024 versus Ohio State, Pete Maravich set a new record for Division I scoring with 3,067 points. Clark needs just 17 more to overtake him. The average price of a ticket was $598.00. All eyes were on the nation. She made a free throw towards the end of the first half. She became the all-time leading scorer in NCAA baseball history with that 1 point for all sexes. Her reaction was minimal. Until the mob went ballistic, she had no idea what she had done. Her 35-point performance was evident by the game's conclusion. It was a formality. Pete had lost his record. On top of the world, Caitlin Clark stood by herself. Off the court, though, things may have been equally remarkable. When Fox Sports did anything new, it was a first. They named the live camera broadcast Caitlin Cam after her. Every offensive motion she made was aired on TikTok. Forget about athletics. Cultural moment occurred. Every state in the union saw her games sell out. TV viewership hit new heights. A women's game had an instant impact on viewers who had never been interested in the sport before. Rapid passes, deep threes, and that intense stare. Her aura was irresistible. It was more than just a game of basketball. Altering it was her job. And when it looked like she had accomplished everything, she accomplished something that had never been done before in history. Perhaps her most dominant performance to date came in the Big Ten Tournament Championship versus Ohio State. For the first time in Big Ten championship history, a player scored 30 points, dished out 17 assists, and grabbed 10 rebounds in the championship game. Not just any triple-double either. In the previous 20 years, no player, male or female, had ever scored 30 points and dished out 15 assists in a single game. She slashed 5 threes and shot over 52% from the field, displaying her style in the process. It was of the highest caliber. It was her 10th triple-double overall. Throughout history, just one female had more. Now that everyone was watching, she made a triumphant return to the NCAA tournament. The stakes were clear to everyone. A women's national championship has never been won by Iowa. Clark had been so near the previous year. She had one final opportunity. That burden followed her to every match. The much-anticipated rematch finally took place. The Final Four pitted UConn against Iowa. During the initial half an hour, UConn restrained her. However, Clark came into his own in the fourth quarter when the game was deadlocked. Within 2.5 minutes, 7 points were scored. It was a 71-69 victory for Iowa. There were 21 points in her game. Add 23 points from her teammate Hannah Stelke. There has never been a better college game than that. This victory returned Iowa to the national championship game. The Indiana Fever selected Caitlin Clark as the first overall pick on April 15, 2024. No one was surprised, it was obvious to everyone. What anyone foresaw, though, was the impact. As of that point, she had surpassed all previous scorers in NCAA Division I history. In the course of a single season, she set new marks for assists and points scored. The pressure, however, increased once she became a member of the WNBA. Speculation about her burst into flames. Over 700,000 people voted for her to the All-Star team in her first year, an all-time high. With a sales increase of more than 1,000%, her shirt became the league's top seller. Her concerts drew enormous audiences everywhere she went. Games in which she participated saw an 88% increase in attendance. The Caitlin Clark effect was the moniker given to it. There was a price to pay for all the attention, though. The league had never witnessed anything like it. Unfortunately, her May 14, 2024 debut was a bust. She set a new WNBA debut record with 20 points, but she also committed the most turnovers with 10. War, not anxiety, was the culprit. Veteran players went for her, intent on forcing her to prove herself worthy of her spot. She was the victim of a brutal off-ball hit by Chennedy Carter in a game versus Chicago that was subsequently deemed a flagrant foul. What came next was even more extensive. With 5.4 per game, she topped the league for turnovers. At season's end, her 225 turnovers were the most ever recorded in WNBA play. Injuries caused her to miss 10 games as well. That got under my skin. While playing for Iowa, she never missed a game because of an injury. It was only after one season of professional play that her body began to fail her. Not only was the league quicker than anything she had encountered previously, but it was also harder, meaner, and more unrelenting. The words she chose literally came out of her head more than once in one session, which was a private thing between her and the athlete. Regardless, she was unyielding. As if it were her profession, she broke records. She finished with 337 assists, breaking the rookie record set on August 18, 2024. Those numbers weren't merely rookie totals. No player in WNBA history had ever scored more than that in a single season. She breezed past the long-standing mark of Ticha Peniachero. The next part was the points. She set a new rookie record with 769 points at the season's end. She also broke Ryan Howard's record for most three-pointers made with 122. Against the Dallas Wings, she had an incredible game with 66 points, thanks to her 19 assists. By breaking that record, She surpassed Diana Taurasi's 2006 single-game record. Next came the triple-doubles. She made league history on July 6, 2024, when she became the first rookie to record one. Her stats were 19 points, 12 boards, and 13 assists. Just 2 months after that, she scored 24 points, grabbed 10 boards, and dished out 10 assists once more. Nobody new had ever attempted something like that. In her second season, she played in 41 games and achieved 3 triple-doubles that catapulted her into the same circle as such icons as Sabrina Ionescu and Candace Parker. At season's end, there was absolutely no room for dispute. With 66 out of 67 first-place votes, she was named Rookie of the Year. An additional vote was cast for Angel Reese. Only 5 rookies have ever been named to the All-1BA first team since 2000, but she became the 6th of them. As a rookie, she had the most points, assists, steals, and playing time of any player. The data was unfalsifiable. More than that, she was the top rookie. Without a doubt, she was among the league's top players. Next up were the prizes. She was selected Rookie of the Year by the Associated Press. In December 2024, she was named Athlete of the Year by Time magazine. With 1.8 million viewers, her first playoff game was the most watched since 2000. She made her mark on the game, not merely played it. However, a different narrative unfolded behind the scenes. Connor McCaffrey, the son of the men's basketball coach of Iowa, began dating Caitlin in April 2023. He was a coach after playing for Iowa as well. They began dating in a low-key manner. Nobody knew for 42 days. However, a picture of the two sailing together was shared by organizers in August of 2023. In a nutshell, the finest way to cap off summer. Then everything shifted. Online discourse erupted. Suddenly, Caitlin's fame extended well beyond the basketball court. She was a powerful basketball duo's other half. They maintained a modest profile. But on her 23rd birthday, in January of 2025, Connor shared a tribute. It seemed to be a letter of affection. He described her as incredible and awe-inspiring, and he expressed his gratitude for being in her company. Lots of people were really into it. Caitlin simply replied, "I love you," and then she posted the post on her own. In that instant, it became clear that this was for real. Thereafter, in July of 2025, she sent Connor a birthday message. The love was there, but it was brief. "You brighten my day, Con, so I hope you have a very happy birthday." She guided Indiana to a resounding victory the following day. Living a life of grace while achieving excellence was her way of life. Both of their careers were booming. Butler hired Connor as an assistant coach. Despite her fever, Caitlin continued to set new records. Despite everything, they maintained a close relationship. Though understated, it packed a powerful punch, and Caitlin's family was there for her through thick and thin. Even her dad, Brent, was into sports. While at university, he was a baseball and basketball player. When he trained Caitlin as a small girl, he could tell she was unique. Her mum, Anne, was a marketer. She remained composed under fire and assisted Caitlin in navigating the commercial aspects of stardom. When she was a kid, her brothers Colin and Blake pushed her. They gave her the ability to be more resilient, astute, and aggressive. Almost all of Caitlin's games were attended by Brent. Whenever she saw him in the throng, she would glance upwards. Her mother spoke highly of her accomplishment in March 2023, when she was selected the AP Player of the Year and received the Naismith Trophy. Everyone in the family was shocked and pleased. Caitlin established the Caitlin Clark Foundation in October 2023. It garnered more than $100,000, 0 cents, in a matter of months. That the Coralville Food Pantry uses. Sports, education, and healthy eating were some of the other areas where children benefited. Even though she hadn't played in a WNBA game yet, she was already making a difference. One photo from a Big Ten tournament game between Ohio State and Iowa on March 7, 2025, turned the web on its head. Caitlin Clark was photographed by sports photographer Bree Luerke as she enthusiastically cheered from the sidelines. That woman wasn't joking. There was no microphone on her. Her only motivation was to support her former team. The picture, though, quickly became viral. Her smile wasn't the center of attention. Their attention was fixed on her arms. A shift had occurred. She seemed more resilient. Someone has clearly been working out in the gym, according to the caption. The picture quickly amassed more than 3.2 million views. A view was held by all. Her legion of admirers claimed she put on 15 pounds of unadulterated mass. Someone made the jest that she appeared capable of benching her own coach. Not only that, but even famous athletes joined in. Dave Portnoy was astounded by the change. A single snapshot sparked a national debate on sports blogs. However, the most outrageous aspect? It was completely unspoken by Caitlin. Her name went viral for weeks after just one flex during a cheer. Nobody saw her publish it. Going viral wasn't her goal. But the response was so strong that ESPN included it during important broadcasts. The moment grew that loud. After keeping mum for over a month, Caitlin eventually spoke out. Along with WNBA greats Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, she made an appearance on the Bird and Taurasi show on ESPN. An explanation was what all the viewers were hoping for. Have you imagined it? Were they filters? Was it an overnight transformation into a bodybuilder? The camera angle was the cause of her smile and jokes. Seriously, AI is spiraling out of control. The deflection was flawless. Once she started getting serious, everyone started laughing. Unveiling her intense workout routine, she said, "I'm trying to get stronger," she stated, rather than saying it infrequently. "I must admit I find it somewhat enjoyable. As a result, I can easily dedicate time there to improving that aspect of my game." In an instant, the air of intrigue transformed into one of awe. It was real, there was no exaggeration, you deserved it. However, changing one's appearance wasn't the only goal. Life or death was at stake. It had been a terrible rookie season for Caitlin in the WNBA. She was taken aback by the physicality. Her opponents were not impressed by her inexperience. She was regarded as a danger by them. She was flagged for 111 fouls in her debut season. With that, she became the rookie with the most fouls in the league and the 11th player overall in terms of fouls committed. On a per-game basis, she averaged 4.2 fouls drawn. The intention behind many of those blows was to convey a message, and they were intentionally brutal. Everything became quite obvious at that one time. A shoulder shot from Kennedy Carter knocked Clark out of the game. An initial off-ball call was later upgraded to a flagrant one by the officials. A hard foul was not the only description. A rude awakening ensued. "People get away with things that other people probably don't while they're with Caitlin," she added later on. She wasn't being a brat. What she said was absolutely true. There was pressure to perform well as the symbol of women's basketball. She would be hurting herself and her team if she didn't change. Thus, Caitlin altered the course of events. She coordinated her efforts with Sarah Kessler, who was in charge of athletic performance for the Indiana Fevers. The strategy was rigorous. "I work out in the gym 4 or 5 times every week, more than simply weight training. This program was specifically made for you." To assist her leap off the ground, use exercises involving just one leg. She has to do isometric exercises to improve her balance and grounding, because she was always getting knocked around when she played too upright. She went so far as to begin exercising just her arms. They strengthened her left arm because it was weak for some passes. Hard labor is the only way, no shortcuts. The program's use of creatine was the source of much more debate. It was unpopular with certain fans. It was questioned by several. Still, it's an organic substance. Strength training aids muscular recovery and growth. Even Clark was on board. She hadn't set out to win over the internet. Just getting through the season was her goal. Coach Stephanie White stated in a podcast that she knew immediately that she had to work on her strength. Her concentration on that was spot on. People just viewed the top layer in that shot that went viral. A tale of hardship, self-control, and strain lay beneath. The need for praise was not the driving force behind Caitlin Clark's transformation. She changed because she was sick of being the punchline, because she wanted no part of being lumped in with all the other players, and because she would have none of it.